What do you make of Deebo's regression?
Well, let's talk about it.
Do you think it's injury related, speed related? He doesn't surprise anybody because he's running a lot of the same plays that he ran last year, but except last year, he seemed to take the defense by surprise. He'd get to the edge consistently and then turn it upfield and make a play. Now he's just being run literally horizontally right out of bounds, almost on every outside zone run.
It felt like he caught the league by surprise a little bit last year. I mean, heading into last year, no one looked at Deebo Samuel as a guy who was going to get a $24 million contract. He had a good rookie year, but, I mean, he wasn't the focal point of the offense. Mostert and Kittle were. And then his second year, he was a ghost. And then he comes into last year, and I don't think teams were really dialed in to stopping him, and he destroyed him as a receiver and a running back. This year, he didn't have the same type of offseason. He wasn't in the same shape. Defenses studied him and really did a good job of shutting him down once Lance got hurt. And I think there's another thing. The Niners were just forcing him the ball. It was clear that he wasn't the same player as last year, and yet they were making him the center of the offense when Ayuk's in better shape than him right now. The running game is working without him. You don't need to hand him the ball. Jeff Wilson Jr. was doing great. So I think that what they learned against the Rams is they don't need to force the ball to Deebo to score 30 points. In fact, they might be better if they reduce Deebo's role and feature Ayuk and McCaffrey like they did in this game and sort of work Deebo in slowly and let him earn his spot again. I'm just saying. I think it might be the best thing for this team.
I'll tell you one thing I'd like to see, and I don't know, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it's just my notion, having watched all these games, it just seems like when they're running Deebo to the outside, they're doing it, running him to the short side of the field. I'd like to see him run to the wide side of the field so he has a little bit more room. Because the one thing that he does not have, and he's never had it, he doesn't have a running back's ability to cut in short area. So he cuts in bigger areas, which means he needs more room to operate. So I'd like to see them get him in more open space instead of running him towards the boundary, run him towards the field. And let's see if he can, if you give him a little bit more room to cut, if he could set up his blockers a little bit better. I just feel like doesn't it seem like there's a lot of bodies around him, and he doesn't have that kind of nifty pick and slide that a lot of top tier running backs have. Why? Because he's not a top tier running back.
Yeah, they could use him better. They could use him better as a running back, but I feel it's a little disheartening what's happening with him right now. I mean, he could be in a little bit better shape, and they could use him better, but for what they're paying him, he's not delivering. He's no longer a wide back. He doesn't give you anything out of the backfield. He's not getting down the field. His route running isn't great. His hands aren't great. What he is now is a screen threat. If he catches the ball, he'll get you 9, 10 yards after the catch, like always. But again, not getting open down the field. Can't counting him to hold on to the ball and not a running back. So now you're paying $24 million a year for screens. It's not good enough. He's got to raise his game to the level he's shown already he can take it to.
Yeah. It seems like almost like the kind of weapon that almost needs to be spotted better too, and maybe with McCaffrey, he will be, but we haven't seen the same production. There's just no question about that.
So I think his average depth of catch last year was like 8 yards down the field. Really good. This year it's like 3, which is like running back stuff. Yeah. That's not what they're paying for. So, and that's on him. He needs to lose 5 pounds and get in shape and improve his route running and hands because he's supposed to be an all-pro wide receiver. No holes. So,
yeah.
Larry, you nailed everything you said about Wilson. You made a very intriguing argument. You did.
Thank you.
Shreddy Murphy says, how balanced is the team now? D, still better than O. I don't look at this team as super balanced because they have basically one way they win, running the ball and playing good defense. That's the way I look at it.
I mean, they came from behind in the second half. Amazing.
They did. They did.
We saw it. We were there.
They did it. That's true.
I think that's actually a really great debate is are the Niners a team with a stronger offense than a defense or a stronger defense than an offense? I would argue that they're a stronger offense than a defense based on the talent they have. If they had Emmanuel Mosley, if they had Greenlaw and Al Shire, if they had a healthy Kinlaw and a healthy Armstead, I'd lean with the D for sure. But now you're playing Givens and Ridgeway a lot, and you're playing
Lenore.
Oren Burks a lot, and you're
Lenore.
leaning on Ambry Thomas anytime anybody goes three wides, give me the offense. I'll take the offense.
Yeah. Wayne Yvette says it's still a point. We get too much talent on one team and it creates turmoil between players, and in turn we fall apart. Someone not getting attention. If they lose, not if they win, but if they lose, yeah, you'll hear stuff. You always hear stuff like this. I didn't get enough touches. I mean, it could be Deebo, it could be Kittle, but if they're winning, no, it'll be interesting.
I subscribe to the theory that you never have enough talent, and if the players are complaining, good, let them complain. Seriously,
Okay.
I don't really know too many NFL coaches that really care if the players are complaining because there's too many good players on the team.
Well, I mean, it's the coach's issue. Are you a leader? Can you handle that? Can you distribute the ball around and keep people happy and keep everyone's ego stroked or not? I mean, it's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have for sure. But some coaches handle it better than others, for sure.
Yeah, and the 49ers may have, this trade for McCaffrey, Grant, I mean, you know it. The Niners have not done this for the most part. They have not taken a guy who makes more money and is going to get more touches and has higher ranking and put him into their locker room just like on the fly. For the most part, they haven't done that. They are very sensitive about drafting guys and slating them behind the incumbent. So this is like one of the very first times we've ever seen them say, hey, yeah, we respect you. You're balling, Jeff Wilson. We love you. Oh, this guy's better. Bye-bye. And maybe they didn't say bye-bye, but he said bye-bye maybe. But
I mean, the way they're acting is that McCaffrey, to your point, is the number one weapon on the team. Like 1 week in the system, enough, 27 touches. Hey, did I send a clear enough message to the rest of my locker room? Like, yeah, I like you, Brandon and George and Deebo a lot, but I like him so much more. And our offense is going through Christian now. And if you have a problem with that, please write something in the suggestion box and I'll maybe read it next year. I don't think you care.
Box.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is his comment to the team. This guy's the best player on the team.
He is. I mean, first of all, there was an NFL before this trade was made. And in that NFL, Christian was better than those guys. So, I mean, he
might be. I like Ayuk, but he's really good.
If we had 20 of the 32 NFL GMs sitting on this live stream, 20 of the 32 would go with Christian. That's how I feel.
Maybe more than that. I'm just a big Brandon Ayuk fan because I know his mom. We're basically family at this point.
I like Ayuk too. I'll say what I admire about Ayuk the most. And Deebo, really the same guy in some ways. No fear going across the middle.
No fear. And there was that. You see that clip? You see that clip of him locked up with that, I don't know, DB or linebacker from Kansas City, and the guy was trying to push him, sort of pushing Ayuk after the whistle, and Ayuk spun around and threw him. I love that.
He threw him into Banks' legs.
He was like, "Let's go!"
Yeah.
I love that. I'm sorry, Banks, but he had to prove something.
Physical.
I wouldn't mess with him. I wouldn't mess with anybody. Look at me. Okay. All right. Let's
Tabor Pepper.
Tough guy. Watch out for Grant Cohn coming through. 185.
Don't
All right.
mess with Tabor.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Tabor Pepper's huge, by the way. I wouldn't mess with Tabor Pepper at all.